And I had a feeling of great triumph and victory.
Let the truth be told. Want the truth, you came to the right show. Talk to me, tell me what's going on. Alan and AMJ, we talk about back in the day, to up to date, and you know it's nothing but love and no hate. F.E. Reese gave us the okay. Okay, let's go. Welcome to the Lineage Show. Okay, let's go. The Lineage.
Form the front line of that march. To my left, march Jose Williams holding his ball. I march next to him. Mrs. King march next to him. Dr. King march next to her. On the way to the Capitol. You hear Dr. King make that speech that day. I sat on that platform, looked out over that sea of humanity, and I had a feeling of great triumph and victory. After having gone through all of the indignities, all of the sacrifices, not all seemed good. I had a feeling of great triumph and victory.
Let the truth be told. Want the truth, you came to the right show. Talk to me, tell me what's going on. Alan and AMJ, we talk about back in the day, to up to date, and you know it's nothing but love and no hate. F.E. Reese gave us the okay. Okay, let's go. Welcome to the Lineage Show. Okay, let's go. The Lineage.
Form the front line of that march. To my left, march Jose Williams holding his ball. I march next to him. Mrs. King march next to him. Dr. King march next to her. On the way to the Capitol. You hear Dr. King make that speech that day. I sat on that platform, looked out over that sea of humanity, and I had a feeling of great triumph and victory. After having gone through all of the indignities, all of the sacrifices, not all seemed good.
The Lineage.
Welcome to the Lineage Podcast. Welcome. It's great to be here on this Thursday once again. Seems like these Thursdays come quick, but I ain't complaining. We have a good show lined up for today. We are the Lineage. Alan Reese Sr., MJ Reese here. If you don't know why we call ourselves the Lineage, because we are the grandsons of the late great Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese, who was the chief orchestrator of the voting rights movement. So we have a lot of things that we're doing in his name. And one of the things that we are doing is this podcast, which is great, kind of an extension of what he was standing for. And honestly, growing up through the years, we have been raised and taught to stand up for what is right. And this is just an extension of him, our father, our mother, and us, the whole Reese family. So we are the Lineage Podcast. This is week, I think 3 or 4 since we have come back. It's been real good, and we appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead and get into, if you have not purchased Selma Self-Sacrifice, right now, currently, it is still on Amazon. It is still on Amazon.com as of right now. That is the autobiography of the Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese. This is a picture of it. In this book, you will learn his childhood, how he had to eat a sweet potato every day. Jesus Christ, sweet potato every day. He was less fortunate growing up as a childhood. He, how the nonviolent movement method and atmosphere came to him. You'll learn that about the down the ground. You also learn how he was very instrumental in the voting rights movement. You'll learn about his family, how he met his father. You'll learn about everything all the way up to his passing and the foundation being started. So if you don't have this book, please get this book. It is a great read, if I say so myself. It is the autobiography of the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. And you will learn about his family, how he met his wife, how two of his children died of muscular dystrophy. So it has a lot of highs and lows. If you are a book reader, and we already know what book, when you read books, you want to hear the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. It has to be entertaining. And if I say so myself, this book is entertaining, written by himself and Miss Kathy Walters. Listen, it is a great read. So if you don't have it, it is currently on Amazon now. It will be some changes going forward, coming up soon, but it is still currently on Amazon. Put the title in and you will get it. Also, if you have not booked the FD Reese Historical Tour, at the top of at the left, you can see it say TripAdvisor. You can find it on TripAdvisor and Viator. Listen, this tour is a tour needed. When it gets hot, people like the tour. We love it. So me and my brother, we drive to Selma, Alabama, anytime someone books a tour, and the tour starts at the historical site, the house of the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese and Mrs. Aline C. Reese, where everything went down, from raising families, to calls from Dr. King in the kitchen, to even him giving us sermons and asking us, are we in control? If you want to know about that, you can ask us later. That's personal. So if you don't have that book, if you haven't booked that tour, please. And then what that would do, if you're listening and you haven't read the book or booked the tour, then you will understand where we're coming from, why we do what we do, and a lot of the topics when we say our grandfather was the chief orchestra of the voting rights movement with our chest stuck out. Once you take that tour, you'll be seconding that motion. So if you haven't got those two things, please do. And all announcements, keep them in your heart. Now, we have a great show. Is First Nurse ready? Now, First Nurse is back. She's live. Since we came back, First Nurse has been doing First Nurse things, but she is live and in the building. So if what matter of fact, we'll go to a commercial, and when we come back, we will hear First Nurse Kimberly Reese.
In January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher.
Right. Welcome back.
Hey MJ, how are you?
What's going on, Kim?
Nothing much. Hello everyone. I'm happy to be back. Long time no see. Happy Thankful Thursday. I'm here to give you your weekly health information. MJ, I have a total of 6 clips and a video. So
Yeah.
you ready?
Ready to get in? Yeah.
So what this May, everybody knows May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That's the season we ribbon that represents health awareness.
think you, hold on, Kim. Hold on 1 second. I think you going out. We can't hear you right now. Hold on.
Okay, what about now?
There you go.
Okay. All right. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. As you guys see on the screen, it's a green ribbon. Green represents mental health awareness. So that's the purpose of the ribbon. And going on into the next screen. So what is mental health? Mental health, it states that mental health is a well-being. It's a mental well-being that enables people to cope with stress of life, realizes their ability, learn well and work well, and contribute to the community. It has intrinsic and instrumental value and is integral to our well-being. And on the next clip. So, mental health is a component of behavioral health that includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. Mental health is a state of well being that enables us to cope with stress of life, again, realizes our abilities to learn, work well, and contribute to our community. Mental health is closely linked to physical health. For example, depression increases the risk of many types of physical, long lasting chronic conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So, for example, I'll give you guys an example. When people have diabetes and long term issues, that causes depression that can stem from overeating. Some people cope with being depressed by overeating, and then as a result, they get diabetes. And on the flip side, if they get a chronic diagnosis such as cancer, that can cause them to be depressed. So physical, and mental health is pretty much hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. And on the next clip, so if you are having problems with mental health, there is a number you can call, which is 988, or a chat is 988lifeline.org. So I thought that this clip was very important for everyone to know. Again, if you're having like a crisis or something going on, or if you know someone who's having a problem with mental health, you do have a number such as 988. So people just think when it's an emergency, people call 911. So instead of the ones, think of 988 if you're going through something. That's a quick number to remember. And also on the next clip, so again, who does mental health affects? Mainly mental health affects all races, all denominations, females and males. They say that mental health is a little bit worse than the white population, but they tend to get treatment more than blacks. And I thought that there was something to know. Blacks, they're not as affected, but they don't get treatments as our white counterparts do. So that's big and important for us to know that as blacks, we do need to get help. And a lot of people look at it as taboo or they're embarrassed, which you shouldn't be. If you have problems with physical problems, you go to the doctor, don't you? You get a physical checkup. If you have a problem with diabetes or hypertension, there's nothing wrong with getting a physical checkup. So you should treat it the same as well as mental health. Um, if it's okay to have a therapist. It's okay to talk to someone. That's not taboo, and unfortunately our race looks at that as taboo or embarrassing. It shouldn't be.
That's true.
And I do have a clip. It's a Congress lady that talks about mental health and the disparities that blacks don't have as our counterparts, such as white people. So it's a video I gave you. Do you have that video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna look at that.
And the social determinant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to acknowledge National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. More than 1 in 5 adults in the United States live with mental illness. We must ensure the community practitioners, from mental health workers, Social workers, crisis managers, law enforcement are educated on implicit biases that they may have and the social determinants of health that negatively impact patients of color. While people of all ages and backgrounds experience mental disorders, minorities face significant treatment disparities. Cultural humility training has advanced healthcare equity, but we must do better. In my area, in the Caribbean, communities affected by hurricanes, most recently Grenada, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Jamaica, experience a different level of mental strain, leading to mental health crises in families, among adults and children. I urge my colleagues to better address the tremendous mental health disparities and barriers to treatment for minority communities. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
Okay, and there you guys have it. That's the video that I felt that was important to share. Again, I always want to leave you guys with a word. Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of the mind. And that's my help tip for you guys. And have a blessed evening.
We appreciate First Nurse Kimberly Reese coming in and dropping the jewels. Welcome back. She live, y'all. So we appreciate that. Now, the interesting part you did say, a lot of us, as far as in our community, we go through the things. We don't go through it as much as our counterparts, but the thing is, we don't get treated.
Yes, and it tends to be worse with us because we don't get treated. We kind of say, "Oh, we'll be all right. We'll just pray about it." But that's why God gave us people such as doctors and mental health doctors to help us just as well as physical. It's okay to
Facts.
get help. You
Right.
know, you can combine
Right.
both of them. It's
There
okay.
you go. There you
Yep.
go. Once again, before she go, listen, if you or someone knows struggling or in crisis with mental health, listen, this is the number. 988, call or text 988. Like she said, instead of the 11s, think of the 88s or 988lifeline.org. That's very instrumental. We appreciate First Nurse Kimberly Reese for giving us that information and helping us when it comes to our health and our physical. So we appreciate that. And we can't take that lightly, y'all. Like on the serious note, we can't take that lightly. When we come back, me and brother, we will discuss a couple of our topics. Trump is cutting Medicaid and food stamps. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Lord, you're always doing something. We're on our toes with him.
We'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere.
And I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed that we were going to march.
Nice.
We'll stand strong. Where we belong. It's not about yourself.
First of all, serving notice on our nation. It's Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese.
We march. We march. We march. Right to march.
He said, what shall we do? I said, we are going back. He said, Yeah.
Welcome back to the Lineage Podcast. We are once again here. Got a couple of topics we need to discuss. That we want to discuss. Let me say that. Let's go ahead and get right into it because this is going to be affecting a lot of people. If you haven't heard, U.S. House passes Trump's new tax bill, saving nearly $1 trillion by cutting Medicaid and food stamps. Now, the U.S. House narrowly approved President Trump's quote unquote one big beautiful bill today with a razor thin 215 to 214 in the vote. So it was close to offset roughly 4.5 trillion in extended tax cuts from Trump's 2017 agenda. The bill includes nearly $1 trillion in spending cuts, primarily hitting Medicaid and SNAP food stamps. I'll let you go ahead and file on that, bro.
And you know my feelings on it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You know my feelings on it. And like I said, this is a terrible thing. With that being said, and there's a lot of people in our community that's going to get hurt by this.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, more of Trump's base will feel the pressure from this.
Yeah.
And I really would like to hear what they got to say about Trump doing what Trump said he was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Trump, what he did, man, he went out to dumb America, who looks at race more than their policy. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Make America great again, and he's doing it. Make America great again. But on the real, MJ, his base will hurt, bro.
Yeah.
And to me, I can't wait to get on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media outlets, and they're gonna start blaming Obama, Bill Clinton, all these folks tied out the White House all these years. Watch, MJ, I can't wait. But guess what? I'm back on my Twitter and my fingers because for a while I stopped engaging back and forth with them.
Right.
2017, 18, 19, but I had a lot of racist white folks mad at me on Facebook. But I feel like bothering them. And I'm going to get back on those pages. And I'm just going to go in, man, and really get them riled up. Because, the Church of the Confederacy, man, this is what they asked for.
Yeah.
And they have to realize that only a rich white man in America can do what Trump doing.
Mm-hmm.
A poor white man in America can't do what Trump is doing.
Can't do it.
Only a rich white man in America can have the audacity with his penmanship and do what Trump is doing in America right now. And he looking at his base, telling them, I love you and I'm looking out for you, hugging them and having the biggest knife that you can think of, a sword, let's say a sword, and he's stabbing them in their back.
Mm-hmm.
And then watch this, MJ. He doing a cut. Watch he go do a rally in the next 2 weeks. Watch he do something like how he was doing the Gulf of America. He's gonna do something that's gonna appease them, just like Columbus Day and the Gulf of America. He's gonna do something and say, see, he got our back.
Right.
Policy. But then when they Medicaid or they get kicked off food stamps or their welfare, guess what? They're gonna say Obama did it. Obama did it.
Yeah.
Trump cutting Medicaid.
Yeah.
He's cutting it, the food stamp. But guess what? Look how much money we spending for him to go golf.
You seen that?
His own property. We pay Trump. Trump don't even stay in the White House, MJ. He stays in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We pay him to go stay in his own house.
Yep.
Think about it. Think about it, MJ. Think about it. But see, I can't wait. I can't wait to see dumb America. The generation who Martin Luther King was talking about with the Poor People's March.
Yeah.
They dumb today. And they don't realize that Trump is getting them. He getting them, bro. He
really getting them.
But then
and like you said, what he'll do is he'll do something like this, and it flies over their head. But then he'll come out and do the Christopher Columbus thing he trying to bring back, and see what that'll do is that'll get their emotions, and then see he's for us. He's trying to bring it back and all that. But then at the same time, when he putting that pen to paper, he's doing things that affect you the most. Yeah.
When he leave Florida, and then now he finna think about it. Look, this is how contradictive Trump is. They talked about Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
About $2 million of foreign whatever.
Right.
That's what Trump doing. Now, look at all that hoopla he was talking about Biden, about the laptop and all that,
Right.
about $2 million, which I think some things were going on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Trump just accepted a $500 million jet from a foreign entity, from them Arabs,
Oh yeah.
that he said he's going to use for Air Force One.
That's right.
No one says anything, MJ.
Nothing.
$2 million.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
500 million.
Right.
And guess what? That jet, he just accepted that jet, and it's nothing for free.
Yeah.
We don't know what the back door discussion was.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how he gonna get his base? Think about it. He accepted that jet, cut Medicaid and food stamps, and then he's gonna get in that jet, fly to Florida, go in his house, and we as American citizens are gonna pay for him to stay in his house. And then he's gonna get on TV and he's going to say it's because of the Democrats that the deficit is high and this and that. Look what he just did to Harvard. Now he's telling Harvard that because they've been going back and forth with Trump about DEI and they won't change their policy. Well, he didn't told them now that we're not going to accept international students anymore, and the ones that go to Harvard got to leave, transfer, or they are going to get their legal status stripped from them.
Really?
See, what people don't realize, America not only was like we said, this is not hurting anybody's hearts, the feelings, but the first time in the world, white people are dying faster than they're being born.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at Biden was letting the Ukrainians in, now Trump letting the South Africans in.
Right.
Okay. Now, MJ, so when you think about what's happening is that America always want the white man to be the smartest and the most prosperous person in America. So right now, you see the things Trump is doing, he want to dummy America down.
Right.
Got to dummy it down. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he gonna cut Medicare and the food stamp. Them folks still gonna ride with him, MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Because because racism is a spirit. Okay? It is a spirit. And we're not attacking the spirit, the demonic spirit behind racism. But guess what? Majority of that community don't want that spirit to leave because they need that spirit. They need that foundation, that spirit to be the foundation to continue their agenda. Okay?
Correct.
Regardless who it helps and hurt. Regardless of if most of the people who keeps the foundation up hurts, but they need that agenda to keep riding. So, to me, I didn't expect nothing different from Trump. I didn't. We talk about black people, man, and there's a lot of black people that's hurting from this. But if we look in history, we've always managed, MJ.
Mm-hmm.
I think with a president as Trump, it would make us as a community to start depending on each other again. Bringing back our culture that we have lost. The American dream took away black people culture. The true definition of a village, MJ. They gave, like I said, we had a title, and we need to bring that back. Back in the day, they took away porches and gave us patios.
Right.
That was done by design. I think when you have a president like Trump, the word of God said, we a lot of times people want to be fearful. The word of God says that I have not given you the spirit of fear, but a sound mind. And we read over that and we don't understand what that means. When God says he has not given us a spirit of fear, that means if he hasn't gifted us fear. So if he didn't give it to us, who gave it to us? The devil, right? Satan. But a sound mind, what people don't realize what a sound mind means. When grandma used to say, I know where God brought me from. See, remember, David had a sound mind, and the reason he had so much confidence in being Goliath, because before Goliath, it was a lion. Before the lion, he was a shepherd boy over and killing wolves. So he knew the reason he was so strong and had a sound mind because he knew what God had brought him from.
Right.
So why, if the standard of God is a standard, we're talking about the standard that he's going to bring us out of something, why should it change now? Because Goliath is in my face.
Right.
So we as a people have to get back to truly understanding what a sound mind is. Why be fearful? God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a sound mind. Okay, so I'm not going to be fearful because things are hard, because God has brought us out of worse. So I'm going to keep my sound mind. Like Granddad used to say, after every night there comes a day. The night God has brought me, but guess what? After the day come, another night coming. So why should I worry about this night when he brought me out last night? So my mind should be sound, saying I'm gonna be okay.
Right.
So we as Black people have to understand, as a community, regardless what Trump does, we're gonna be okay. But what we have to do, people that are well off, call your family and ask them, are you okay? Is it something that you need? Is it something that I can provide you with? The sense of village, community, culture. That's what made us great, and that's what white supremacy attacked, and that's what divided us and made us weak, because they attacked the village, MJ, the marriage, the togetherness. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't mean to get off course, but I'm just trying to.
No, it ties into it though.
Get an understanding.
It ties into it. Trish said, just for your information, a U.S. district judge named Jeffrey White blocked Trump's Harvard plot. So he blocked
it.
Blocked his Harvard plot.
But you see what they're doing. You see what they're trying to do.
See what they're trying to get over. Yeah. But yeah, it ties into it, brother. You're not getting off course, because even though we talking about him cutting Medicaid and food stamps, one of the things we do know, and if we ask, if we heard the stories in our family, if we go back to generation 2 or 3, you will see the disconnect and togetherness from every generation as it goes on. Like you said, it went from porches to patios. So it went from the front yard to the backyard. So in the front yard, you can see your neighbor kid walking home, and you can keep an eye on them, and you can let her know, hey, Miss Susie, I seen James come in the house or whatever. Or you can let her know, hey, James out here running around. And you know, it was actually a village. It was a community, and it just wasn't talking points. They actually lived by it. If you was low on ketchup and needed 2 eggs, you can go to your neighbor like it's nothing, and then they'll give it back to you. So those are just a little things that we're talking about as far as community. Go ahead.
But MJ, and I think those artifacts in Granddaddy collection, we need to start showing the people when he was under leader of the Selma movement and how they was thinking outside the box. Remember, this is not new. Once before, during the movement, the government was not giving Black people what they supposed to have. They was not giving them Medicaid, food stamps.
Correct.
Remember, the Dallas County Voters League was talking to the agriculture
in
the White House about what Selma was blocking and not giving Black people who were not being taken care of.
Correct.
Lights, paying their lights, the giving them food stamps and those different things. Hold on. Going somewhere with this. Remember, that's what I talk about, culture and Black people. The Dallas County Voters League, the money they were raising was paying those people bills.
Correct.
Was putting food on their table. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what hurt us when we got into the political movement. And we all can play Monday morning quarterback on FD and Martin Luther King and all that. We all can correct things and say, well, we would have did and should have did, and we weren't there. And most of us, everybody who talk junk on the internet, they butts probably would have put their tail between their legs and been scared.
Yeah, come on.
But it's okay. I had to say that. They always talk about what they would have done. But what I'm saying is that those Black people, what they was doing, they was using their village, and they were taking care of the people. The money, even though we can go back and say that some money was not given to Selma like it should have been given, but what Selma had, they were giving back to the community. Not only the people who was losing their jobs as a result of the movement, but the other people who were struggling too.
Correct.
And to go back to my point with the Dallas County Voters League, when we got back in the political movement, we should have kept organizations like the Dallas County Voters League alive.
Mm-hmm.
When Granddaddy and them and everybody started getting voted in the political process, we forgot about the organizations and we went away from the organizations that got us there.
Mm-hmm.
That got us there. The Dallas County Voters League should be putting their foot on Selma government right now.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That's just my mindset, but we lost that way, bro. That's what the American dream did. You know what I'm saying? The American dream somewhat fooled us in a lot of ways.
Right. You're right. Like you said, we could have been a dual quarterback. We can throw the ball and run it. We can be Michael Vick. So what happened, like you said, once we got into the political movement, we turned into Tom Brady. And,
that's right.
And we didn't understand that we can be Tom Brady and Michael Vick. We can still look out for our people while also holding the government accountable. We can still keep doing our grassroots things that we started. So yeah, you're 100% right. And you know what? Maybe we need to start. We'll talk about that. How we'll start. Maybe on the other channel we'll start. I think it'd be good if you kind of tell the story and go from beginning to end.
Yeah, man, that collection is serious, man. We're gonna have to start showing that collection, man. You know, to show people, man, this movement was bigger than what they show you on TV. These folks were smart.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? In the government, that's why they had to come up with things to destroy us because, man, we are a different type of people on how we moved, MJ.
Yeah. Because they saw that we were still united through Jim Crow, through all of that. Like we can't break it.
You can't, and we get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And like, man, we got to do something.
We got to do something, you know, to shift it. Because if not, they was looking down the line.
Like, these cats always coming back and they know how to wiggle their way in. And next thing you know, they got change.
Correct. That's right, dog. That's right. That's right. Matter of fact, we're gonna do a commercial. We're gonna come back. It's a pastor on the internet. I didn't find his name. He is correcting this church. So I want the people that are involved and tell us what y'all opinion is. When we come back, we'll get into it. So don't go nowhere.
Form the front line of that march. To my left, march Jose Williams holding his daughter. I march next to him. Mrs. King marched next to me. Dr. King marched next to her. Dr. Ralph Bunch, the first African-American Nobel Peace Prize winner, marched next to him. To his right, marched Mrs. Abernathy. To her right, marched her husband, Ralph Abernathy. To his right, marched John Lewis. To his right, marched A. Philip Randall. And then to his right, marched Rosa Parks. That's the front line of that march, moving down Dexter Avenue in Montgomery, on the way to the Capitol, to hear Dr. King make that speech there. And I had a feeling of great triumph and victory.
In my younger years, it wasn't much that I can smile about, but there was nothing I would change. And as I think of all the obstacles that came about, it made me the man I am today. Oh yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to Leonard's Podcast. Leonard's Podcast.
Quick.
Yeah, it was a quick one. You know, the commercial, you know, nowadays you can't run them too long. Man, I will say something outside. You see how little AJ was in there, how big he
Yeah,
was?
what you saying?
Good God Almighty, man.
Lord have mercy.
Look, we're gonna get into this pastor corrects his congregation. I have a video, so I'll show the video and then y'all tell me y'all thoughts on it. Let me see, because I gotta remember this is here we go. All right.
On tape, and I want you to look me in my eye. So I want to make myself very clear today. It's on tape, and I want you to look me in my eye. I am not pastoring a church where the teenagers lay all over each other like a bunch of dogs in heat, fondling each other while I'm trying to preach the word of God in this pulpit. Your kid ain't doing it, and your kid ain't doing it. I have instructed my security staff to pick you up by the seat of the breeches and throw your wicked tail out of here. What kind of girl would let a boy fall all over her in the house of God? If you're that wicked to do that in church, what in the Sam hell are you doing when you're not in church? You're not going to play with your cell phone. You're not going to lollygag around. You're not going to talk. Hey, Justice. Hey, Justice, look up here. Hey, Justice. Hey, Justice, look up here while I'm preaching, son. Yeah, I'm preaching to all that crowd back there, and you included. You ought to have your eyes on your preacher while the man of God's preaching. You shouldn't be falling around. I ain't putting up with it now. I don't give a flip whose kids you are. And I'll tell you how you parents stop this nonsense. Make your kids sit in the pew with them, and when they act up, smack the living hell out of them. They'll stop this bunch of nonsense. Now, I'm telling you, I ain't putting up with it. I come here to go to church. I ain't a referee. I ain't fooling around with a bunch of people laughing and giggling.
He was absolutely right.
Hold on. So yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't know his name. I tried to find his name, but I couldn't find his name. Do you agree or disagree with what he was saying and how he handled it?
I agree with everything that man just did. Christ came in when the church wasn't right. He came and whooped some folks in the temple. I remember going to church here in Atlanta, 2005. A lot of old folks know Mr. Clean. Yeah. I remember Mr. Clean. He was a big time preacher back in the day, in the 80s, 90s. Went to church. He stuck a cag up on the young boy in the pulpit.
Cagged
him. Put him on his back. Put him on his back, MJ. Parents right there. Then parents didn't say nothing. Then, hold on, the parents got up and told their pastor, Pastor, you was led by God because he had been giving us trouble during the week in school. And Mr. Clean said something to him, and the boy didn't act right. Mr. Clean's, oh, what?
Yeah.
See, MJ, we won't change in our young folks, in our community, but we don't want to accept the type of force that it's gonna take with these kids. Okay, we want this pastor to say, well, put your phones down.
Yeah.
It's okay. God will forgive you. It's all right. He won't be on. If you're on your phone during church this week, if it's 10 minutes next week, just be on it 5 minutes. No. No. MJ, I agree with his approach. I think his approach is needed. His approach is needed, MJ. His approach is needed in the church. His approach is needed in the schools. His approach is needed in the community. And his approach is sure enough needed at home.
Yeah.
MJ, you know me, I've taken some things from you as far as, we talk about how we raise our kids. You more of a, you kind of talk more, kind of, let them think it out.
Yeah.
I'm coming there with the belt. I'm from there. Both mindsets are needed, MJ.
Yeah.
But we want to just talk without action.
Right.
Both our mindsets is needed to have to raise upstanding men and women.
100%.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So
I
commend.
I 100% agree with him. And with me, like you said, I'm more of the, okay, I want to sit you down and say, why would you do that? Or what made you think, but my wife is more of like you. Yeah. So it creates a balance. Secondly, remember when Daddy said, I could be getting this wrong, if Dad can call in and correct me, but I think I'm right about it. When Granddaddy was preaching and Daddy was acting up, and Daddy said, on the mic,
Marvin,
don't make me come down there and embarrass you. And daddy, and dad was like, come down there, like you already embarrassed me, you know.
In the mid sermon.
In mid sermon, right.
And MJ, think about it, man. We've lost decorum. We get up during church, all the walking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just, we get done playing the music. We want to go out. We gone.
Yeah.
We do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand what this man is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's a way you need to carry yourself.
Correct.
And he's right. Holding these parents accountable. If your child doing this, make them sit next to you and knock them in their mouth when they acting up.
And that's exactly where I was going to go. That's where I was going to go next, because I want to kind of point that out, what he did say when he said, sit your kids next to you when they act up, knock the hell out of them. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying, that it goes back to, because a lot of the times the parents, like you said, the parents won't change, but we as parents have to dictate this change. Mm-hmm. Because what's happening is, because remember he was talking to the back. So what's happening is the kids are back there getting rowdy. They're not sitting by the parents. So the kids back there doing what they want to, and the parents are probably more up front and in the middle. And so what's going on is, yes, he's talking about the children, but I think he did in a way that he wanted to send a message to the parents too.
That's right.
Put your child next to you and knock him in the mouth.
Knock him in the mouth.
Knock him in the mouth. So he was doing some corrective action, pretty much saying, you better do it before I have to, before I go and get up in there.
Get him.
Yeah.
And
we need that. I remember mom and dad when we was living in Arkansas, and mom and dad was in the choir. We would sit in the row by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And now we were 8 years old and younger. Yeah. I think I wasn't even 10. And we had to behave.
If I wasn't behaving, Mama MJ tapped me.
Yeah.
Mama had that look, and I
just straighten up.
Straighten up.
And so I think he's 100% right. Just like you said, it needs to go in the community, in the home, and in the church. This type of discipline and dictatorship needs to come back, because it's out of hand. The children just don't respect the people that were always respected in the community, your pastors, your teachers, and
they don't fear nobody.
You're 100% right. So
they don't fear nobody.
100% agree with the pastor. 100% agree.
They don't fear nobody, and when they don't even fear their parents, it's hard for pastors and teachers and stuff to invoke or try to put discipline in them, because if they don't fear their parents, right? Because you're supposed to fear your parents. Kids supposed to fear their parents until they build a relationship with God and fear God. Mm-hmm. And that's why the word said, train a child the way they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart, because a parent's supposed to train a child, and at a certain point, that child grabs onto God's unchanging hand. Now God can hold them accountable, right? But what's going on? We not even training our kids, so God can hold them accountable, MJ.
Right, and I'll say this: think of what used to happen. I'll say this, and I know everybody that's listening will be like, "You're 100% right." When we were in school, and the teacher says, "I'm gonna call your parents," we would be like, "Please listen, kill me here. Whatever you do, do not call my parents."
I used to think, man, how can I go to jail for my mom and them not to know? And they can lock me up and go and serve some time, and then go home, and my mom and them not know. Just, you got wishful thinking.
Come on.
The thing was, don't tell my mom and dad.
Listen, a teacher, I'll stand in the corner, I'll write 300 sentences, whatever. But nowadays, what is it? If a teacher say, call my parents, they're gonna call your parents, call them. That lets you know right there. Because now the kids nowadays, the parents are too much on their side initially. Yep. So now the kids are threatening you, call my mama.
They got backup.
They got backup.
How did you say it to them?
In our day, it was like, please don't call my parents.
Yeah,
So we see where the disconnect is, where it has, it has really fallen by the wayside.
I gotta give a god sister Shan her props, MJ. Nephew got suspended from school.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay. Most parents don't want you to say nothing to their kids. We was at football practice at Gresham the other day after football practice. Saw Shan, me, AJ walk down. Mom and them had told me that Cam had got suspended.
Correct.
And it wasn't the reason he got, it was how he got suspended that just don't make any sense. He was instigating a fight. You know, if somebody was messing with you and you got to fight, you got suspended. Hey, Uncle Allen, like, hey man, you gotta do what you got to protect yourself.
Right.
But he instigate. So
I didn't know that.
So I asked Shannon, I said, what Cam? Said he around here somewhere. So I heard he got suspended. She said, yeah, So okay, it take a village. You know me, MJ. I got the mindset take a village. You want me to be a part of your child life? I'm gonna help raise your child like I raised AJ. Yeah. And y'all know I don't play the business with him.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Cam up there with about 12 kids playing football. And the Francis and Marvin Reese came out of me. Yeah. I didn't call Cam to the side and try to tell him, keep him away from being embarrassed. I got him right there in front of his friends, and I wish one of his friends would have said something to me.
Yeah.
Right there. Embarrassed his butt right there. When I got done with Cam, he was walking down to his mama, apologizing and saying that, Mama, I'm going to do better because I said you need to come stay with me. Want to come stay with Uncle Al for about 2 weeks because I'm going to raise you like I raised AJ. And I don't mind bringing out the belt. So if you're going to act crazy, I'm going to put you in line. And your mama don't mind me putting you in line. A village.
Yeah, that's one I got. I give Shan some slack, but that's one thing I got to give to her. She don't mind you getting on her boys and tighten them up. You know what I'm saying?
Tighten his butt up, MJ. Right that's there. I wish you would say something to me.
Yeah.
Tighten up. Your mama do too much for you to be acting like that in school. Tighten up. And if I said next time I'm coming up to the school, I know I can't whoop you in the school. I'm going to check you out, and we're going to go to the nearest gas station, and I'm going to wear your behind out. MJ and I have no problem doing it. For me, it'll work for these young men. You know what I'm saying? These other young men, we didn't allow the government to tell us all this. First nurse Kimberly, God bless her soul today, she talked about mental health, but we've mixed discipline and made it seem like the discipline that the generations from our past has created a mental health epidemic. I'm telling you this. I believe the lack of discipline has caused us to not be mentally right because we're not prepared. And when you're not prepared, you gain anxiety. When you gain anxiety, you gain fear. When you have fear, you don't have a sound mind, and you don't have a mind that you can conquer, MJ.
That's right. That's right.
So this is the effect of not raising men and women to have some type of discipline and be fearful of the Most High, MJ.
You're 100% right. And you're right. I was just about to say it. You took the words out of my mouth. It's the lack of discipline. Because the discipline made us stronger. It made us more respectable.
That's right.
It made us more resilient. These are the things that you will be prepared for in life that majority of people are going to go through. You're going to have to be resilient. When you start getting your family, start getting married, how are you not going to be mentally sound? And you're talking about raising a family.
That's right.
How are you not going to be mentally sound when we know, especially as like Kim said, as Black Americans, it affects us, and it affects us the worst. So we have to be prepared. How are you not going? It teaches you resilience when you lose that job to keep going. If you are mentally weak, and if you haven't experienced the right things that cause you to be more disciplined and cause you to be more resilient and causes you to be more respectable, when you start going through the life things that lives, it just is what it is.
That's right.
And how are you going to mentally be prepared to continue to go through, to push through, to still push through the obstacles and still push through everything that you're going to go through? It's where the mind go, the body follow.
That's right. And we got to understand that, and it teaches your child to be them unapologetically, to be strong-minded. Today I went to, you was there, I went to my daughter's 8th grade graduation. Let me tell you this, MJ, as a parent, all the things when they called Faith's name, the achievements that she made, it warmed me. But before we left the building, what touched my heart the most, a teacher came to us, her homeroom teacher, and said before they took the map test, Faith wanted to pray for the class, wanted to pray that everyone does well, that they would pass, and they would achieve, and they would do great on their test. Do you know from her upbringing the type of mindset a child today has to go and say, I want to pray for my class?
Right. And yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I got to say this, not just wanting to pray, but understanding that nowadays kids would get slack for even wanting to do that.
That's right. And then do it.
And still doing it.
That's right, MJ.
Despite the possibility of being ridiculed.
That's right. And then
that's another level.
So what that does, see, train a child the way they should go.
Correct.
And when they're old, they won't depart.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what happens in her life. She knows that the power of prayer, that I can tap into something that's going to give me power, regardless of my circumstances. See, these are the type of adults we're trying to raise, MJ.
Correct.
That is important.
Correct.
Not just, yes, you got to get your grades, you got to do those different things, but at the same time, you got to give them something. Like you said, life is going to happen. That's one thing we know. You can't run from it.
Okay.
You can look to your left or your right. Life going to happen. So regardless of what type of job, you could be a doctor or you could be a trash man. You could be a football player or you could be security. You could be police. It don't matter what you are. Something's going to happen that is going to test you.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? So then how you conquer that test is what you can look like. Sound mind. What can I pull from my upbringing? What can I pull back that can help me in this circumstance?
Correct.
But if I don't have it,
right,
what's gonna happen? I'm gonna say, man, my mind gone.
You're gonna let it defeat you.
Suicidal thoughts. You're gonna let the enemy come in and bring things in you that's gonna weaken you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we have to understand that just because we have great grades and we have achievements, the biggest achievement is having a foundation of the Most High. It's just me coming from my upbringing of the Most High God that I believe in Christ who died on the cross for my sins, and one day I will be in eternity with him. Having him on my side, going through what I'm going through with me to help encourage me so I can be strong and so I can conquer it. So I can say, man, look what God has brought me out of.
That's
and
right.
when it come again, because another storm coming from the north, I know that I'm going to conquer this one too. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing that we can do for our children, MJ.
Right. You're 100% right. Because and let's even go from a logical standpoint, because all these kids, we let them believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all of this nonsense, because and I get it to a certain extent. We want them to have some type of belief that if I do what I'm supposed to do, these are the rewards and these are the things that I will get. But when it comes to the Most High, and I will say this, then we want to put all of these rules and regulations on it.
That's right.
So for Faith to want to pray,
that's right, MJ.
We want to put all these rules and regulations on Christ, and so it's done by design to take Christ out of our children's normal everyday life and put all of this nonsense in it and make their mind weaker. And so from a logical standpoint, you're 100% right, because like life is gonna life. And when you get older, if you have something that you can lean on, because if you don't have that, if you don't have the Most High, if you don't believe in nothing, then when those problems come, you're gonna feel alone. You're gonna feel all alone, and it's gonna defeat you. So a lot of the reasons that I think this generation mind is weaker is because they have taken out the God in their everyday life. Remember, Granddaddy said they used to pray a moment of silence. Remember, Granddaddy said, moment of silence, whoever you pray to, this is that time. Think about it. If they had it in their everyday life, they go to school 5 days a week. If they brought just that back in their everyday life, that will make a change in some children because it becomes repetitious. And then if they getting it at home and they getting it in school, then it will help them with their relationship with God as they get older. So then when we see a lot, like you said, a lot of these suicides and everything happen, their mind won't be so weak, and they know they can go in their closet and they can pull from the one, that creator.
Because they know that they're not alone. Remember when they said, "Good, stand with your loins good about with truth."
That's right.
Preparation of the gospel of peace, with your feet sharpened, with the breastplate of righteousness, with your feet sharpened with the preparation of the gospel of peace. You go what I'm saying? And you get what I'm saying. So he was saying that the full armor of God, have it on you. You know what I'm saying? Have it on you.
And then what would Granddaddy say? And remember, he would say, "Don't be looking around, so you're gonna lead." He said, "Even if you're alone, but just know you are not alone.
It's God with you,
because God is with you."
So that's the foundation of your being, MJ. The word of God is the foundation. I don't care what folks say, what they try to put in you. We've gotten away. The reason black folks were successful, I know there's a lot of other religions out there, but I'm here to tell you today, the reason that it was the church that moved black people forward. You could say how we got there, whatever, but I'm talking about how we got out of it. The earth, the all this other stuff wasn't there. It didn't get us out. The ancestors, we talk about ancestors, that wasn't there. What they was at? And I'm talking about here in America.
Correct.
It was the church.
Yeah.
It was the cloth. It was prayer. It was fasting. It was those things that got us in perpetrated, move black people forward here in America. Okay. Now, once we arrived, now we want to say, I want to thank the ancestors.
Right.
I want to thank the leaves and the ground and the earth.
And the energy.
I want to thank the computer. I want to thank myself. Where was that spirit, MJ? Where was that spirit in 1963? What was that spirit in 1956? Last time I checked, most of those people who helped move us forward, they had God, MJ.
Correct.
They had their loins girded about with truth. They had the breastplate of righteousness, and they had their feet sharp with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and they stood on the word of God, and they said, it's going to be God. God's going to move this mountain. See, we thinking about when we say mountain, Stone Mountain. No, he gonna move this aside for me to walk through. He gonna split these waters for me to walk through. Let's start giving God back his props. Let's start raising our kids the way of God. Let's start turning back to him. Stop turning from the government. Stop doing all this. Let's start having a prayer life with our kids. Talk to them about the Most High and watch God start moving. Let's teach our kids to fast. Let's show them the word of God said fast and pray. Fast, MJ. Things move with fast. MJ, you know, your brother went on a fast, bro. God started shaking up things. I don't care how much I prayed and went to the altar and read my word. Until I started fasting, God started giving answers. Teach your kids at a young age what fasting do. Let's get back to that and watch God start moving, bro. Yeah. But until then, it's going to be like the 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. God will be silent in your life.
Because and all of the things that we do, bro, with the fasting and everything, it has spiritual context, but a lot of people don't understand it. It also has physical ramifications because it teaches you discipline. It teaches you a strong mind. It teaches you a lot of things beyond the work.
Right.
So that because it opens up your. That's why fasting it's supposed to bring you to a close relationship with God, because what it does a lot of the times we are consumed mentally and physically buy the food, buy the Instagrams, buy the Facebooks, buy the.
That's
So
right.
when you go on a fast and
Circus.
you fast and pray, it causes you to become back connected with God, what you're supposed to, and be more focused. So
most motivational speakers, you can hear biblical principles
Correct.
from when they get up and speak.
That's right.
You show me a motivational speaker who gets up and talk, and I will show you the biblical principles that they went through in the Word of God to give you. But they won't say it. But that's the truth, MJ.
Correct.
We gotta get back to it, bro.
100%. 100%. No, we went over time, man. We can go on this all day. We went over time. But look, we 100% agree with the pastor. Look, we appreciate y'all joining us. We'll be back next Thursday. The book, the tour, y'all get in, lock in with us. We're going to keep y'all updated on some different changes we got coming on with different things that we're doing. And like I said, we appreciate y'all joining us. And take care of yourself, man. And we'll see y'all next week.
The lineage.